Welcome to Market Like a Hotshot, episode 22. Jeff the Socio, James Feudo. It's like Johnny Carson, remember?
I know.
Here's James Feudo. What is going on?
So you're Ed and I'm Johnny.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm Ed McMahon. So for you youngins
Yes.
out there, you're probably like, who the heck is Johnny Carson, right?
And Ed McMahon, yeah.
And Ed McMahon, but man, they were legends. They were legends. They probably had a podcast before they were podcasts.
They probably did. You know what's really funny about that is I didn't know Ed McMahon from Johnny Carson. I knew him from Bloopers and Practical Jokes.
Yeah.
Which was a whole other thing. And then the Publishers Clearinghouse or whatever it was.
Publishers Clearinghouse. Woo! I'll tell you, we're dating ourselves here, Mr. Feudo.
We really are.
We really are. Hey,
what better way to kick off, episode
22? It is. It's the way to do it. So, hey, last night, man, Venture Cafe, finally went there.
Yeah, second time for me.
Second time for you. I had number 70, you had number 2. A lot of brilliant minds we ran into there.
Yeah, it was a really good event. I was so psyched to get to meet so many cool people there.
Yeah, and they had sushi.
Yeah.
They had sushi there. Nice. With the kombucha, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a vegetarian, sushi is my favorite thing.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. So, we met a few founders there. And, what was the first question? The first question they would ask, hey, where can I find a sales guy? And I thought there was something wrong with that.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Because you're employee number one of your company, right? You're the founder. Yeah. And the first person you're going to hire is a salesperson. I was like, they're missing something.
Right.
And that's kind of the gist of today's episode, right?
Right.
Right. It's all about, strategizing like a hotshot.
Yeah.
And, when marketing comes before sales.
Right.
Wow. That's great.
When people jump right ahead to sales and skip the whole marketing piece of it, it's like building a house without the foundation.
That would be funny. Yeah. Have you ever seen a house without a foundation?
Well, around here, you definitely don't want to do that.
No, because a 20-mile-an-hour wind, what will happen to your house?
It'll be like the Three Little Pigs story.
Yeah, it'll be like, whoosh, down it goes, right? Yeah, so, you have to nail your marketing strategy first, right? So, positioning, we'll talk about positioning, demand generation, how marketing sets the tone and sets sales off for success. And I always allude this also towards cold calling. Imagine that, or you start your company, you hire a couple of sales reps, say, get on the phone, make 100 calls today. Okay, but what's my message? No, just call people. Here's a funky script and all that. Is there a problem there?
It's like kind of getting in your car and not knowing what the destination is.
Or you go blindfolded, and you don't know where you're going. So we'll talk about that. So the big idea, right? So you always say sales is the engine, but your engine can't run without what? Fuel. And marketing is the fuel.
Is your fuel, yeah.
So, marketing strategy is definitely a prerequisite. Now, give me an example. So you run a business, right? So you actually hired a salesperson first, and you learned from it, right?
Yeah.
Tell us the story there.
Well, that's one of the lessons that we learned, because I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I'll do the work, and then I can bring someone in, and they can go and bring in new clients for me. But it's not that simple when you're starting out. Like, you need processes in place. You need. We're a marketing company, so we needed to work on our marketing of ourselves. So, just handing, telling someone, okay, we're going to hire you as sales. And I talked about 3 or 4 people last night that had been offered sales positions, and it was the same thing. It's like, yep, you're going to go sell. Here you go. Now we have sales scripts, we have calculators, we have tools that people can use. But if you don't have that marketing behind there, you've probably heard of companies where they hire, they spend 6 figures hiring a salesperson, and they don't even have a brochure.
And you know what's interesting? I'm going to put my recruiter hat here. They pay salespeople a heck of a lot more money than a marketing person.
It's true.
And it's interesting how marketing really, in reality, is more important than sales, because what happens is it's the road, right? It's the highway. It's the highway you're driving down. You have a mission, and your mission is to get from point A to point B. marketing is going to get the salesperson from point A to point B. So that's like the big idea.
Right.
I've seen you talk about sales, we probably met some startup folks last night that, they're blowing six figures on salespeople,
Yeah.
OTEs, right? But, they're paying them that. They're not even getting commissions because they're not making any sales.
Right.
They just didn't have a strategy. They didn't have a single piece of marketing collateral. Like, I'll ask the first question, like, so what are you doing for marketing? How are you qualifying leads? MQLs, marketing qualified lead. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
What is an MQL? Not to put you on the spot. Marketing
Well,
qualified.
yeah, I mean, like that's one of the things we talked about in a prior episode. We were talking about how you qualify your leads and things like that. And while there are companies out there that will do it for you, you really need to define who your target audience is, and whether or not they're able to. Not only do they fit your customer profile, but are they a good fit for you as a client? So like, in our case, it's, are they large enough that they have a budget so they can do the work that we're doing?
Yeah.
And are they in our, excuse me, sweet spot of someone that we can help?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Good point. But actually, where I'm going here is next is like positioning and storytelling. First question you want to do as a business is, who are you? Why should anyone care about you? And answer those questions first, right? Because that's going to help you trying to get the targeted leads that you need to be able to close the deals, right? You need a clear story. Because, as a salesperson, imagine you going blind with a blindfold as a salesperson. You have no idea what the story of the company is. So tell me a little bit more about that, your thoughts there.
That's actually kind of funny because a mutual friend of ours stopped by this morning, so shout out to Gary.
Gary?
We love Gary.
Is that Bezos?
Yeah.
It's Bezos.
Gary is a great guy, and congratulations to him. He was just named Ambassador of the Year for the Metro West Chamber.
Good.
Which is really cool.
You think we could go on his yacht down in Miami?
No, but it's funny because, Gary's a good friend of ours. He comes to a lot of events. And
Gary.
Yeah, and I know he listens. So, but we were talking about that because Gary's a financial advisor, right?
Yeah.
And he's often in rooms with other financial advisors, networking and things like that. And he's a good example of this because he really does a good job getting himself out there, being a person. He's got a great story when you talk to him and learn, and that gives him an advantage over some of these people we've seen at your events that we won't get into some of the details there about some people that you and I had talked about, but some people just don't get it, and they don't understand how to communicate with people, and that's where having a story is important because you have a story and other people don't. It gives you an advantage.
It does. It's positioning.
Yeah.
Positioning yourself. So, a hotshot tip we always would say is, before you hire a salesperson, we would kind of write your value proposition. What's your one sentence? It's one sentence, value proposition. If you can't explain that first, your sales are going to fail out. You're not going to sell anything. You'll end up firing a lot of salespeople, and it's not their fault. Right. So it's positioning and storytelling. I love that. That's all. Another shout out. We have to do another shout out.
Yep.
Chuck Goldstone,
our good friend Chuck, who was there last night.
He was there. Man,
I was waiting for that shout out because we talked about that last night.
Yeah, he listens to us too. So
yeah, and Chuck's a great guy.
Great guy, but he's talking about telling your story. So your marketing team, your PR team, your public relations gets the story straight, right? And it helps you get to your target audience, right? So marketing defines who to chase, because you know as well as I do, right? I do the same thing in recruiting, right? I'm not going to go after, I'm going to say go after, that sounds like an awful word, right? I'm not going to target an individual contributor. I'm going to target hiring managers, right? So marketing is going to help me get there. Like maybe, entice the hiring manager that they need to talk to me. Likewise with you as a small business owner, right? You target small, mid-sized businesses with your digital marketing solutions. Give a great example of that. So how do you target your main audience? How do you, your niche, the companies that you want to target, how do you do that?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people in our industry in marketing, they may target a particular industry. We actually don't do that. We instead target a certain size of business
Yeah.
because our solutions tend to be more technical than other folks. And, you know, we look for businesses that can really leverage those solutions and benefit from them. Just like, you know, we use the Lamborghini performance at Lexus prices. That's, excuse me, how we...
Lexus prices, huh?
Yeah, because we're not, we're not Fiverr.
Yeah.
And I tell people that when we talk with them.
What's
because-
Fiverr? No kidding.
No, but I mean, like, that's in this industry, it's like, it's all over the place. So
Yeah.
you have people that start at, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have people that start at hundreds of dollars. So,
Yeah. That
it's...
Wix website.
Oh, my goodness. You don't want to get me started on Wix.
I did I won't mention the business, but I did one of those Thrive business assessments, and it tells you who built the website.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use Wix.
They do. It's. I mean, and Wix is it's not a bad solution for do-it-yourselfers. I mean, I would not pay $2,000-3,000 for someone to do a Wix site, but that's something you can probably spend 2 hours on the weekend watching a video and then
Hey,
do it
you're a
yourself.
website developer, right? Woo! It's like AI generated.
Yeah, and I mean and that's not the market we compete in, so
Yeah.
that's why I can tell people.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So getting back to target, get your target audience and demand generation, right? So what you want to do is build a campaign. Like this is where marketing comes in, right?
Yeah.
The great content, either it's content or an ad, or even partnerships with channel. If you have channel marketing, right? You can partner with different channels before you even hire sales. You should be doing a lot of that work ahead of time.
Yeah.
Before you hire sales, because I always say it's funny, right? It's like cold calling. You could tell I love cold calling, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just cold calling random businesses, 100 calls a day versus having positioning driven content, right? Everything from having a targeted particular client downloading your white paper, for instance, right, or attending a webinar that you do. That's really where it's at versus 100 calls a day. That kills me. When I hear, I talk to sales folks, and I had to call 100 people. Well, how many people pick up the phone? 2?
Yeah, it's the brute force method. The old, like they used to say back when there was your yellow pages, and I know we're always dating ourselves with these references, but
do you know what a yellow pages is out there? Yeah.
But I mean, you literally grab, that's what people used to do back in the day. Is that forget technology? They would grab a list, whether it's a phone directory of local businesses, and start from A, and then. Just call through all of them. Hey, do you need a new sign? Do you need a
back
new?
then you had no choice.
Yeah,
That's what worked back then.
Yeah.
You didn't have social media. You didn't have email marketing. You didn't have a lot of that.
You didn't have SEO. You didn't have any
you
of
had
that.
So, my father was a salesman, right? He was a food salesman. That's what he used to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're laughing. He'll go on the yellow pages, start calling restaurants up.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is fine. That's the way it worked back then. So the Hotshot tip, though, today, kind of reel us back to 2025, though, is, definitely build at least a demand-generated campaign.
Yeah.
And that's, what you could say with content. So, and then, here's another reason, scalability and efficiency, right? Mm-hmm. So that's another big one, right? Third reason, marketing comes first. It's going to allow you to scale, right?
That's really the key. I mean, with any business, the big thing is you obviously want to grow, and scaling is a huge part of growth, obviously.
Yeah.
So, you want to make sure that your solutions and things that you're putting in place are scalable.
Yeah. I mean, you're building a playbook, right? Your messaging, your positioning, we've talked about in campaigns.
Yeah.
You have that all in place, guess what? Guess who you're ready to hire?
Then you're ready for your
salespeople. Yeah. So that's big. We're talking about strategizing like a hotshot. The secret sauce is getting all that marketing infrastructure in place. Right. Now, it's not to say you got to go out and hire a big agency, spend all this money. You could do it. There is do it yourself, right? If you have the time. We always say go to an agency. Though, I'm going to say that's 2 agencies right here in the room, right? You want to work with an agency first and then probably retract back over time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe hire your own marketing people, but or continue to outsource it. But you want to get that. You always want to have marketing in place to help strategize and scale your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, you hire. Give you an example. Like I hired a plumber to fix a toilet, and once I saw what he did, then I could fix the rest of them in my house.
Yeah. Man, you
And
became a plumber?
yeah, it's funny. I know.
I gotta see this.
I
What do you?
for
We gotta do this hot shot video
Yeah.
into the feud household.
I
Yeah.
know. Well, that's the thing. Like, so when I got my house 25 years ago, anything electrical or related to water, plumbing, I was like, I don't want to touch it. But I mean, like, I've gone in and I know how to do outlets, and like I'm not a
Wow. I'm hiring
nothing.
this dude.
I wouldn't do anything that I would like. I have a licensed electrician that does all of my work like that, but I know how to do it, or I know at least how to test it.
Yeah.
I always have someone. When it comes to electrical, you don't want to mess around, but
I
like
don't.
you understand. Like he showed me how to switch out my panel.
Really?
So you can learn a lot and that's really what you're getting when you bring a consultant on or an agency on. You can learn from their expertise, and they can go in and do some of the work for you. We do this frequently with our clients. We'll set up templates for them.
Yeah.
We'll set up strategy, and that's something that you can have someone do to help you, or you do it yourself. I think the bottom line is just that you don't want to reinvent everything.
No, and that's definitely, like I said before. Again, before you have your sales team in place,
Right.
you don't want to do that, right? So scalable and efficiency. So you're efficient, you're scalable. That's body of strategy. Is again having your business plan and then having your
Yeah.
marketing plan in
Right.
place before you have salespeople doing the work for you and doing the hunting, right? Hunting. Hey, we're in hunting season right now, right?
Oh,
Right?
I
He's
forgot.
like, what are you talking about, Jeff? We're living in
No,
the middle
no,
of a
no,
city.
no, but like they have, there's a certain time of year where they always let the hunters come out, and it's usually around November, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, and then those, to kind of bring this home a little bit, one of the reasons why you want to have your marketing strategy in place is before you hire sales reps is consistent message, right? I've seen a case once where a company hired, they set up a call center before they even knew what the hell they were doing. And they had the salespeople they wrote their own scripts. They're like, we don't need a company script or whatever. And they had started, it was like 6 different stories.
Yeah.
And obviously the company no longer, it's another venture cafe company I ran into there.
Oh, really?
Not yesterday, but in the
but
past.
years ago.
Yeah, the guy's now back in corporate America. Well, wonder
Wow.
why. But it's so important to everybody be in sync in terms of your message and your salespeople,
Yeah.
and that's why you want to have this strategy in place.
I mean, like, imagine you're a car dealership, right? And you have people saying, you have one person saying, oh, yeah, this car is fuel efficient, and then someone else saying, it's not really that fuel efficient, but it's fun to drive.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't have consistency, so, people are talking to different people, and they're not getting the same message from your business, so you've got to get that stuff down.
Yeah, it's kind of like, a Lamborghini, I bet it's a lot more fun to drive.
Yeah, I don't
right?
think people
But
are
it's
really...
terrible on gas.
Yeah, I don't think people are really worried about the 8 miles per gallon or whatever it is that you get in there.
I know, right? So, hey, let's land, man. Let's land this baby. Let's land this plane. What do you think? Before you hire sales, make sure you have a positioning statement.
Yeah.
Give me an example of a great positioning statement. Again, Mr. Marketer.
I'm getting quizzed left and right.
I love
and
quizzing
I'm like,
this guy.
And I'm sitting in there thinking to myself, I'm like, because I always like to use our stuff as an example.
Yeah, use your stuff.
But one thing we used to tell people is we're creating websites that people remember.
Yeah.
And that's how we position ourselves.
Position yourself as
the leader of
the digital remembrance.
Yeah, it's like we all look at hundreds, sometimes more, websites a day, and it's like, which ones do you remember? So that was something we did. We also position ourselves as sites that don't get hacked.
Yeah.
So we're always looking at, from the customer
That's a
perspective.
very important thing. Hey, that might be a secure like a hot shot. I see another episode coming
Yeah,
up
we're
soon.
definitely going to do.
You got to secure like a hot shot. And then, of course, positioning yourself and then defining your target audience is big, right? You got to know who you are, who.
No, but wait. My
What?
audience is everybody.
It is. At the end of the day, it is everybody.
No, it is to some extent.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that we talk to, and I'm like, so who? Tell me who your target audience is. And I know, like, some people really dig into that customer profile.
Yeah.
Where they're like, Molly, they have like Molly and Bill. Molly is a married mom in her mid-30s, drives a minivan, takes her son to soccer, her daughter to ballet, likes to go to Starbucks for coffee. Like, they get all the way into that, which I think is a little excessive, and less, for most businesses don't need to go on that level of detail.
Yeah.
In our case, we're like, we target businesses that have X amount of income, within this range.
Yep.
And have this X amount of marketing budget and X amount of employees, because that helps us, as we talked about qualifying earlier.
Qualify your leads, right?
Yeah, it's
MQLs.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you're in health and wellness, so like if you were,
Yep, can't tell.
yeah, so if you're like selling like pills for men over 50, and you're talking to a 20-year-old woman,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
I'm not going to sell a prostate formula to a 20-year-old woman, right?
Exactly.
No. Right? Or we actually have vitamins for over 50, women over 50. Imagine trying to sell those.
Yeah, that one you'd just be like, oh, this is the regular one, and then for your mom you can give her.
Yeah, that's probably a safe way, because the woman's like 47. She's like, do I look 50? Not good. So that's a big one. And then talking about doing a demand generated campaign. So you always want to start with a campaign, I always say, because that's almost like an A/B approach.
Yeah.
Marketing, that's another topic someday.
A/B,
but
A/B test like a
A/B
hot
test
shot.
like a hot shot. But you want to see what works, because now, you have your statement, you defined your target audience. Now you're doing a campaign communicated to that audience, right?
To generate some
That's
demand.
your playbook.
Right.
Before you even sell. So, your salespeople are going to be very happy after that, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be happy because, you know what? If they do cold calls, which is, I think that's where cold calling is better. Right now you got qualified leads, because it's not that random, let's just dial for dollars all day, right? It's the fuel before the engine. Now your car has a full tank of gas when you have all that in place, right?
Right. I mean, it's going back to the playbook. I remember one of our recent salespeople, like, he knew how to qualify leads, like, after we sat down, and we actually have a lot of stuff on our internal portal, materials and training for our sales team. But, like, I gave him some space to go out there, and he would come back to me and be like, hey, this is a good company to target because of this. They don't have this on their website, or they have this and it's not right. And, like, he doesn't just randomly call any company. He looks for people that need our services versus just looking for, it's kind of like you're going, you're at a bar looking for someone to date, and, like, your only thing is they need a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that happens after a few, right? So kind of summarize, sales executing, marketing is the playbook, right?
It is.
All right, so set them up. Don't set up to fail. Set them up for success, right? So, we'll talk about funnels in the future, too. Funnel like a hot shot.
Funnel like a
Man,
hot
that's why we're going to have, like...
That's going to be like the college episode.
The college episode, right? No, you're thinking of beer funnels again, aren't you?
Well, it is a Friday.
Yeah, it is a Friday. It is a Friday here, live.
It's a dry Friday here in the office.
Dry Friday.
Why, like, we're both, even out all the water we had, it's still...
Well, it's, the air is very dry today.
It is. It's super, super
It's
dry.
very dry. It's actually not too bad out today.
Yeah.
So it was a cold morning, but...
Building's a little dry, but...
Yeah, they got to, put a humidifier in here.
All the heat's upstairs in my office.
I know, right? So market like a hot shot. Episode 22, strategize like a hot shot. Build your strategy. You know how you're going to do that? Subscribe. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, iHeartRadio, and YouTube to see our beautiful Italian faces.
And don't forget your Market Like a Hotshot hoodies.
Hoodies, it's chilly.
MarketLikeAHotshot.com.
marketlikeahotshot.com. And I don't know if anyone saw my video out there, the Alexa video. So if you
Oh,
do
yeah,
have an
yeah.
Alexa, you can always ask Alexa to play Market Like a Hotshot for you. How about that?
How cool is that?
So speaking of that, I'm going
And
to go ahead.
Android Auto does the same thing.
Android Auto. So you have every way to listen to us. So we'll leave it at this. I'm going to go talk to Alexa. Have a good day. MarketLikeAHotshot.com. Episode 22, Strategize Like a Hotshot.
Love it.
Have a good day. We'll see you soon.